The San Francisco 49ers are heading into one of the most anticipated matchups of the season, and the spotlight is squarely on their offense. Brock Purdy has been phenomenal, touching the ball on virtually every play and producing highlight reel moments that showcase his skill, vision, and ability to make defenders miss in tight windows. On the ground, Christian McCaffrey continues to be a dual threat, not only powering through the defensive front, but also seamlessly catching passes out of the backfield. His versatility allows the 49ers to stretch defenses horizontally and vertically, creating mismatches that have been critical to their success this season. When it comes to the offensive line, no player commands more attention than Trent Williams. His presence or absence has a direct and measurable impact on the 49ers' performance. Historically, when Williams takes the field, the team has compiled an all-time record of 61 wins and 32 losses, a mark that includes playoff games. Without him, however, the team struggles dramatically, posting just 4 wins against 13 losses. This stark contrast highlights his importance, not just as a blocker, but as a stabilizing force who elevates everyone around him. His ability to dominate in the trenches, create running lanes, and protect the quarterback is unmatched, and the Niners' hopes in high-stakes games often hinge on his availability. At 37, maintaining peak physical condition is a monumental task, particularly with a hamstring that plays such a pivotal role in both mobility and power. If Williams is on the field, the offensive line functions at a level that few in the league can match, but his absence exposes weaknesses that opponents will eagerly exploit. The running game is even more crucial against a team like the Eagles, who have built one of the most formidable defensive lines in recent memory. Losing key players like Nick Bosa and Melvin Ingram in previous matchups has already shown how quickly the balance in the trenches can shift. For the 49ers, the ability to run the ball effectively, particularly through McCaffrey, could be the deciding factor in controlling the clock and keeping Philadelphia's potent offense off the field. Every play design, every blocking assignment, and every defensive read matters when the margin for error is razor thin. Injuries, as always, remain a central narrative for San Francisco. Ricky Bursaw's status looms uncertain, with a PCL injury making every cut, plant, and acceleration a potential risk. His prior absence early in the season, stretching from Week 4 to mid-November, demonstrates just how delicate recovery can be for this type of injury. Even if he is back on the practice field in a limited capacity, the real test comes when he must perform at full speed against one of the most physically imposing defensive fronts in the league. These are not minor considerations. They are central to how the 49ers will approach their game plan and rotate personnel to protect key contributors. Meanwhile, the Eagles present an enviable contrast. Under Nick Sirianni, Philadelphia has consistently managed player health with precision. Since 2021, they have been one of the healthiest teams in the NFL, with nearly every opening day starter making it to the Super Bowl in both 22 and 24 seasons. Their training staff, medical protocols, and practice philosophies are engineered to maximize longevity, minimize risk, and ensure that players are at peak performance when it matters most. While San Francisco has had notable success despite frequent injuries, the persistent attrition has raised questions about training methods, recovery strategies, and even weightlifting approaches. Observers in NFL circles note that some of the 49ers' techniques differ from league norms, emphasizing physical toughness but potentially compromising player durability. This dichotomy between the two franchises is fascinating. The Eagles prioritize health management and player-friendly practices that reduce cumulative, while maintaining peak performance. They limit full-contact repetitions, structure practice sessions intelligently, and rely on a holistic approach that integrates recovery, stretching, and targeted conditioning. The 49ers, in contrast, embrace a highly physical style that mirrors their on-field philosophy: brutal, relentless, and designed to wear down opponents. The trade-off, however, appears to be consistent injury risks. There is no doubt that San Francisco's style creates advantages in physicality and attrition, but it comes with the cost of frequent key player absences, raising strategic challenges for head coach Kyle Shanahan and his staff. Examining coaching matchups adds another layer of intrigue. Vic Fangio, now with the Eagles, is a defensive mastermind known for meticulous preparation and strategic flexibility. He has historically given Kyle Shanahan fits, holding his offenses to under 16 points per game in their 4 career meetings. Fangio's defenses adapt week to week, modifying coverage schemes, disguising pressures, and sequencing plays to exploit tendencies. While Shanahan is renowned as one of the NFL's premier offensive minds, his record against Fangio reflects the challenges of facing a defensive coordinator with decades of experience and a deep understanding of game planning. Fangio mixes zone and man coverage, alternates between subtle blitzes and conservative looks, and has the personnel to execute at a consistently elite level. Philadelphia's defensive line, bolstered by acquisitions at the trade deadline and key players returning from injury, presents a formidable challenge. Players like Jalen Carter, Jalen Phillips, and recent contributors add depth and versatility, allowing Fangio to create pressure from multiple angles. Even veteran players, who may be older but rested, contribute meaningfully to the pass rush, demonstrating the value of long-term health management. This depth contrasts sharply with San Francisco's offensive line, where injuries can shift matchups dramatically and create vulnerability at critical moments. Success for the 49ers will likely hinge on establishing the running game early, controlling tempo, and protecting Brock Purdy to create opportunities in both the pass and run game. The ground attack becomes even more central considering the Eagles' efficiency in limiting passing yards and points. Philadelphia allows remarkably few passing yards per game, making it imperative for San Francisco to generate consistent gains on the ground. Christian McCaffrey and the offensive line must operate at peak efficiency, exploiting any creases and maintaining balance to set up play-action opportunities. Kyle Shanahan's dynamic running schemes, combined with the ability to extend drives and keep Philadelphia off the field, could be the key to tilting momentum in what promises to be a physically punishing contest. Without consistent blocking and ball control, the Niners risk the kind of defensive domination that Seattle demonstrated, where every attempt to move the pocket or run play action is neutralized by superior penetration at the point of attack. Beyond strategy, the psychological element cannot be understated. If San Francisco can sustain drives, dominate the line of scrimmage, and force the Eagles into uncomfortable sequences, momentum can swing dramatically. The crowd, the intensity of playoff atmospheres, and the pressure on a highly efficient Philadelphia team could create openings for explosive plays. Conversely, failure to establish the run or protect the quarterback would place the Niners in a reactive position, relying on quick strikes against one of the league's most disciplined and prepared defenses. Every decision, from personnel deployment to in-game adjustments, becomes magnified when the stakes are this high, and the matchup between Shanahan's offensive ingenuity and Fangio's defensive expertise is the narrative driving this game. Turning our attention to the Eagles, it's impossible not to admire the precision and discipline of their roster management. Philadelphia has maintained an extraordinary level of health over the past few seasons, and it shows on every snap. Lane Johnson, Nico Dean, and other key starters are back and fully available, while the rookies and newer acquisitions have blended seamlessly into the system. This kind of depth allows the Eagles to rotate defenders, mix up pressures, and adjust schemes without missing a beat. Every player knows their role, and the cumulative effect is a defense that can maintain intensity from the first drive to the last, even against a relentless offense like San Francisco's. The matchup in the trenches is going to be decisive. On paper, the Eagles' defensive line has an edge, but Trent Williams changes the calculus if he's active. His ability to control the point of attack, sustain blocks, and create movement for running lanes elevates the entire offensive line. Without him, however, the Niners' blockers will face a grueling challenge. The Eagles' front can exploit weaknesses quickly, penetrating gaps and collapsing pockets before Purdy can execute his reads. Philadelphia's defensive tackles are disciplined, quick off the snap, and relentless in pursuit, creating a scenario where every hand placement and footwork decision from San Francisco matters. The pressure won't just be on the quarterback. It will ripple through the running game and the passing attack, forcing Shanahan to adjust schemes and rely heavily on creative motion and play action. The Eagles' defensive philosophy under Vic Fangio is perfectly suited to exploit even subtle weaknesses. He doesn't rely solely on overwhelming athleticism. He thrives on anticipation, preparation, and adaptability. Man coverage, zone coverage, disguised blitzes, and varied alignment put constant stress on offensive coordinators and quarterbacks. Even Brock Purdy, who has been exceptional this season, will need to make decisions under duress, reading the defense in real time while adjusting to movement at the line. The margin for error is slim. Miscommunication, a missed assignment, or a slight delay in protection could turn a promising drive into a stalled possession or a turnover. San Francisco's running game is more critical than ever. Christian McCaffrey's dual-threat capability is a weapon, but must be amplified by effective line play and smart play calling. Kyle Shanahan's offense thrives when it can establish the run and manipulate defensive alignments. Successful ground drives force the Eagles to commit extra defenders to the box, opening opportunities for play-action passes that can create explosive plays downfield. Without that balance, the 49ers' offense risks predictability, allowing Fangio's well-prepared defense to dictate terms. Every handoff, every motion, every misdirection becomes part of the chess match between the two coaching staffs. Special teams could also play a role in such a tightly contested game. Field position, kickoff returns, and coverage units can create subtle advantages that amplify the effectiveness of both offenses and defenses. For San Francisco, limiting mistakes in these areas will be essential. A poorly executed punt or kickoff return could shift momentum, especially in a stadium where the crowd energy is amplified by playoff intensity. Every yard counts, every decision is magnified, and every miscue has the potential to tilt the field in favor of the opponent. Looking closer at coaching matchups, Vic Fangio versus Kyle Shanahan is a masterclass in contrasting philosophies. Shanahan relies on timing, spacing, and motion to create openings, while Fangio studies tendencies, sequences plays with precision, and adjusts his defense dynamically. Past encounters suggest Shanahan has struggled to consistently score against Fangio, with previous games averaging just over 10 points per contest. However, those matchups featured different quarterbacks and roster compositions. So while historical patterns are interesting, this game presents a fresh tactical puzzle. Shanahan's creativity and adaptability could allow him to exploit any overcommitment or misalignment, but Fangio's preparation and ability to neutralize strengths cannot be underestimated. Philadelphia's offensive line is equally formidable, and if the Niners' defensive front struggles to generate consistent pressure, the Eagles could dominate time of possession. The ability to control the clock, sustain long drives, and protect their quarterback amplifies the impact of every rushing and passing play. The Niners' defense will need to bring consistent pressure, rotate linemen effectively, and maintain discipline to disrupt rhythm. Any lapse in containment could allow the Eagles to convert third downs, extend drives, and force San Francisco into high-pressure situations where mistakes become costly. The strategic nuances extend to situational football. Red zone efficiency, third and short execution, and 2-minute drill scenarios will likely define the game's ebb and flow. Shanahan's play designs are innovative, often incorporating motion and misdirection to create mismatches, but these must be executed with precision against a disciplined and adaptable Eagles defense. Conversely, Fangio's unit excels at disguising coverage, adjusting in real time, and applying pressure without overcommitting, forcing offenses to make difficult reads under the harshest conditions. Each sequence becomes a microcosm of the larger game, where preparation, execution, and split-second decision-making converge. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL world is buzzing with one of the most shocking rumors to surface in recent memory. Sources close to the situation suggest that a blockbuster trade between the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams might be closer to reality than anyone anticipated. Industry insiders are calling it unprecedented, with Guido, the 49ers general manager, at the center of what could be a seismic shakeup in the NFC West. Although neither team has officially confirmed the details, whispers from league circles indicate that both franchises are exploring a swap that could alter their rosters dramatically. Fans have speculated endlessly about potential moves, but this rumor has taken on a life of its own, with social media erupting in speculation, mock drafts, and heated debates over who could benefit most. Analysts are already weighing the possible impact. Some see it as a masterstroke by the 49ers front office, a bold maneuver that could redefine their strategy for the season. Others argue that the Rams might emerge as the silent winners, quietly upgrading their lineup in a way that might not be immediately obvious. The intrigue is heightened by Guido's unexpected involvement. Known for his methodical approach to team building, Guido has rarely ventured into headline-grabbing maneuvers. If the rumors hold any weight, this would mark one of the most daring moves of his career. Speculation is rampant. Could this be a calculated gamble aimed at a Super Bowl push, or is it part of a longer-term rebuild masked as a headline-grabbing trade? Fans are already envisioning the implications. Imaginations run wild with scenarios of how key players might fit into new systems, how team dynamics could shift, and what rivalries might look like in a newly configured NFC West. Even without official confirmation, the mere possibility of this trade has sparked endless debate, with podcasts, forums, and sports shows dissecting every conceivable angle. While no concrete details are available, one thing is certain. If this trade happens, it will dominate NFL conversations for weeks, perhaps months. The ripple effects will be felt not just in California, but across the league, as teams adjust their strategies in response. For now, fans and pundits alike are left to speculate, analyze, and dream about the tantalizing what-if that could redefine the landscape of two of the NFL's most storied franchises. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.